basketball fans? Welcome into Canada's home for Talking Hoops. This is The Hangout. I am Akil Augustine, and no, we are not inside the Air Canada Centre. We have to take it outside. It's a beautiful day in downtown Toronto, so we brought ourselves to the Nike Loft on Richmond Street. Thanks and shouts out to the Nike family, of course. Our panel for this very special episode from downtown Toronto, Dan Gladman, you know him and love him as the producer of the Toronto Raptors broadcast. How you holding up, buddy?
I'm good. I'm missing the couch a little bit, but this is all right. This is
okay.
good.
You have a little back pain from this, but it's all good. One of the best ladies in the game, ESPN's very own Amy Audibert. Thank you so much for coming out.
Thanks for having me.
And then this guy, the Marlon, that dude McFly.
We just gonna do this every time?
Every time.
Okay,
Well,
cool.
You may recognize this guy from a Honda commercial, YouTube, lots of different places. But let's get into it, guys. The NBA Finals are raging on. I can't really say they're raging on. They're kind of happening. Yeah, they're happening.
They're raging for one team.
Yeah.
Every night.
Depending on the nights.
Yes.
So my question to you is, what's going on here? Why are there these gigantic swings in the score? Someone want to explain this for me? Dan?
I don't think there is any explanation for it. It's ridiculous. It's insane. I think Game 3 was the 19th game of these playoffs that was decided by 25 or more points. And as Jeff Van Gundy said on the air last night, talking about the home court advantage, it's inexplicable. There's no explanation for this. It seems like the team that's more desperate, or the team that's at home, comes out like a house on fire in the first quarter, and the other team just kind of gives up. I mean, we've seen it 3 games in a row now.
And we actually kind of saw it with Cleveland in the series with Toronto, because it was inexplicable to blow out Toronto in the first 2 games of that series and then get blown in 2 games in Toronto. So quickly now, I want to see, where does the responsibility lie for what happened in Game 3? Because we saw the Warriors demolish them, that dude McFly. Yeah. And then we saw the Cavs demolish the Warriors. So which team was responsible for that game? Was it the Warriors?
As much as I'd like to hate on Cleveland, I feel like their defense really stepped up last night.
So you're giving the credit to Cleveland?
Yeah, you got to give the credit to Cleveland, and kind of got to give a shot to the Warriors, because they came out like they were overly confident. Draymond said it himself.
The Thunder.
Yeah, very similar to the Thunder. They came out thinking that, oh, this is going to be a for sure thing because of the first 2 games, and they got a rude awakening right off the jump. Plus, you got to kind of blame Steph Curry, too, for getting those early fouls.
We will talk about him, but are you guys agreeing that it was mostly the Cavaliers that were responsible for that performance, and you're not going to put it on the Warriors? Dan, Amy?
Yeah, and not just because of the defense. I mean, let's just talk about plain effort. I think it was in the third quarter. Cleveland was up 20, 25 points, and LeBron's sprinting full court to chase a loose ball out of bounds. I mean, that's just will, that's want, that's understanding the severity of a loss in Game 3 and going down 0-3. And I mean, just overall effort, a different team came out that night.
Well, I think Cleveland did come out with obviously more effort. They were playing urgently and desperate.
That first quarter was the story of the game.
100%. Yeah. But I think there was another story to that, and I think that was the lineup change. A lot of us will argue that the Cavs maybe are a bit better off without Kevin Love in the starting lineup. They put in that.
We'll make that argument later in the show.
Okay, well, they put in, they started with the small ball. They had a blitz, and Golden State just was not prepared. I was shocked. It was amazing to see the Warriors and Steph Curry looking so disorganized and unprepared.
And allowing 33 points in the first quarter was kind of the story. Now, another side of this story was in games 1 and 2, you got a total of 8 points from J.R. Smith, and you didn't get classic, or what we imagine to be classic Kyrie. In Game 3, you got huge contributions from those other 2 guys. So my question is that a repeatable formula for the Cavaliers moving forward, Amy? You think you can get consistency out of J.R. Smith?
Ball movement. I mean, you get him open shots. Even the first shot of the game last night, he didn't make it, but it was a great shot. I think it was a high exchange above the 3-point line. And I mean,
he's been getting those shots
He's
throughout
been
the
getting
playoffs
those
and
shots.
has been shooting 35% or under. He's not that consistent.
He's just
really
inconsistent.
You're not going to win the NBA Finals relying on J.R. Smith to do 5 out of 10 every
but
night.
I think it's realistic to say that he can come back with
I
that
think he's
again.
gonna have one more game like this. One more game like this.
I wouldn't count on it.
So what about the other guy, the isolation player, Kyrie Irving, the ball massager? He's a good player, but he requires the ball a lot, but he did have a big game.
Yeah, I think he can continue what he's doing. He's got that confidence back, and he knows what he needs to do now. He's taking those nice jumpers out mid-range. He was like attacking the basket like crazy.
He's
the
best finisher in the game
gross,
right now.
man. He put
Hands down.
Curry on skates last night.
Hands down, best finisher off the
The
glass.
key with Irving is, as soon as he makes the catch, he's got to make his move, and it's got to be a drive or a shot. There is a statistic, I wish I had it on me right now, but in games 1 and 2, when he shoots or moves off the pass, he's in the like 80% shooting. But when he dribbles around and then makes a move, he was something like 4 of 28 in the first 2 games. So the key with him is get the ball, make the decision fast, and make your move.
And I think also, too, when he beats someone off the first dribble, it's pulling up or it's going to all the way to the hoop based on the help defense. I thought he did a really good job of that last night. They did have a lot of help defense, and you saw him pull up a lot in the second play of the game, and that's where he's, I think, really good at making that read.
Cleveland's shots are more high percentage than Golden State's shots.
Definitely.
And, you know, they
Well,
were
Golden State
hitting
has
on those.
some of the best shooters in the world that take ridiculous shots.
Absolutely.
Take half-court shots for fun.
But when LeBron and Kyrie are getting to the rim and getting in the paint, those are super high percentage. They shot 70% in the first quarter.
I feel like LeBron kind of slipped up for the first. Like, I feel like the support really helped him last night more than anything because he was not playing well throughout the first, like,
But
2
I
or 3
agree.
quarters.
I was thinking that at one point, and then you looked up in the third
And then
quarter
he
and
has
you had
20 points,
32. And
It
He
didn't make any
10.
sense.
But he also alluded to that in his post-game presser, saying that it was Kyrie that really led them, despite the fact that he had the plan. But quickly,
definitely.
something you touched on earlier in the show, Kevin Love. Let's just get into it, guys. Are the Cavaliers better without Kevin Love?
He's about to have the longest concussion protocol in NBA history. Okay?
I don't think so.
I have a hard
don't
time
really
with
don't
this, though,
think
because
so.
they did great with him, and I don't necessarily think you throw him back in rotation, but he doesn't make you worse. Like,
don't
it's
think
Kevin Love.
he
He's
kinda
great.
does.
I don't
He
think,
kinda
think
does.
it
I don't
looks
think
that way
having
just
Kevin Love on
because-
your roster makes you a worse team. I mean,
No,
we're
but in your
talking about...
But in your starting 5 against Golden State,
No, and
I think he does.
Yes, but I
And-
think he can still add a lot to your
Oh,
team off the
absolutely,
bench, and I think he
absolutely.
helps a lot.
But you're going to bring him back, and he's not going to start after he started every
Definitely
game all
not.
He's
year.
going to have to
Big
man
fly.
up then. He's
Yeah,
gonna
I
have to
think
put the
I think
tissues
he's been
away.
playing well, to be honest. Like throughout the latter half of the playoffs, I think he's been shooting the ball well, and I think just the overall support for LeBron last night helped out so much that it seemed like, oh, we don't need Kevin Love
But
because he's
they
not
do.
in this game. But if he was in the game, who knows what the score might have been even higher.
So do you start him in Game 4, Dan?
I mean, I don't
Six
know
man.
right now.
Six man, really?
Six man.
They just won. They
Six
just won
man.
with the small lineup with Richard Jefferson in there. It's
But
the
he didn't
finals.
really
Hey,
make
you
it.
are
I know.
Tyronn Lue right now. It's
I'm
6.
start-
It's
I'm
8:58.
I am going with what worked in Game 3, and that's the starting 5 with RJ in
Jefferson
there.
Amy, it's 8:58
Yeah,
Friday
look at
night.
how they came out. You have to go back. They came out on a hot run, and yeah, you have
Gotta go
to. You
with
have
it.
to go with
Jefferson,
it.
he's trash. I don't.
I will say this.
great.
I was
You can't say anyone in the group is garbage in the NBA.
I will say
right?
one thing in Kevin Love's defense. Sometimes the sum can be greater than the parts. He's a great part, but does he fit with this group?
I don't know about that.
That's the real
That's the
question.
real
there,
question,
Wizard.
yeah.
All right,
Definitely not
so
the
that does it for this first segment. We still have to talk about the Warriors. Can you imagine that? We've been talking about the finals for like 8 minutes, and we haven't mentioned the Warriors. Well, that'll happen at the other side of the break. This is Canada's home for Talking Hoops.